Hi, welcome to the briefing of SmartBiz simulation. In this simulation, you will run a company and compete with other players in a dynamic scenario. As you can see, you have been appointed as the business head of a smartphone company known as Alpha Technologies in a market which is known as Fantasia. The market where you operate is having an exponential growth, but the competition is also very stiff. Technology has been changing rapidly, and the only way to succeed shall be through cutting edge products. Your company has been growing at 15 to 20% year on year, but there are immense opportunities, and the board thinks we need to adopt a more aggressive plan to make this possible. Let's look at the market. Now there are three segments in the market. As you can see, we have affluents, we have value seekers, and we have conservatives. Affluents, they correspond to the premium segment of the market. They want to go for the best gadget in the market. Value seekers opt for mid-range handsets, so they are the middle class. And then you have conservatives. Conservatives are people who belong to the lower end of the spectrum. Now currently what you have is you have three products, each product targeted on each three segments. So you have A1 targeted on affluence. This is the specifications that you have. Memory is 2 GB, camera is 8 megapixel, storage 32 GB, screen size 5-inch, and price is 26,000 Bitcoin. Similarly, you have A2 with relatively inferior specifications as compared to A1 and targeted for value seekers at a relatively lesser price point, so on and so forth for A3 as well. Now, if you look at the distribution channels, there are three distribution channels in the market. So one is a modern retailers. Modern retailers comprises of online stores plus all your physical stores. Then you have company owned stores, which are stores run and operated by company. And at last you have distributors. The significance of channel is that different segments will have a different preference for these channels, and also the buying pattern will probably change as you run this simulation. Now this is your dashboard. This is where you get to see your scorecard. Now as you can see in front of your screen, you have a leaderboard wherein there are 6 teams in the leaderboard. You have Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, and Foxtrot. So you are Alpha and you have 5 other players. And on the left hand side, you can see this is quarter 1. This is a simulation which runs for 4 quarters. So for every quarter, you have to make a strategy, you have to submit your inputs, and at the end of the quarter, we simulate and show you the results of that quarter. This is the leaderboard where you will see your total score. This is a cumulative score based on some parameters. Now these are the parameters on which your simulation score depends. As you can see, what we take is we consider a complete 360-degree overview of the company. We are not just concerned about the current profits or the current stock price. What we actually look at is from a company at 4 different dimensions. What are those dimensions? Number 1 is the financial dimensions. Number 2 is the customer dimensions. Number 3 is internal business process dimensions. And number 4 is learning and growth dimensions. Under financials, we have stock price and profits as the parameters that we consider for financial perspective. For customer, we consider market share and customer service level. For internal business process, we cover plant utilization and stock out cost. For learning and growth, we cover continuous improvement and innovation. After every quarter, you get a score on each of these parameters. You can see the score will vary from 1 to 100. So you get a score on each of these parameters, and the weighted average of these parameters will further give you the simulation score. What is worth noting is that if your focus shifts on any one, the other might just fall down. So you have to make a balance on all the 4 parameters together, which means you have to balance your present as well as your future. So your short term as well as your long term. So this is where these simulations become very special and gives you a strategic approach of how do you lead a company. Now let us look at how do you run this simulation. So this is your dashboard. On the left hand side, if you see, A lot of sections available. We have analysis, and then we have planning, and then we have a simulate section. Let's go to analysis first. When you go to analysis, analysis is the section which gives data, insights about how the market will shape up and also about your competitors. So the first report that you have is demand supply report. Under demand supply report, you get to see your market shares in terms of your volume and in terms of your revenue. When you begin with, each team will have an equal market share. When you scroll down, what you get to see is you also get to see a product wise volume and revenue market share. If you further scroll down, you will get to see a channel inventory report. What is the inventory which is left in each channel is what we see in this report. And if you scroll down, we get to see a demand forecast, a quantitative data in terms of three kinds of smartphones. So one is a basic smartphone, then you have a mid-range smartphone, and you have a high-end smartphone. So you have a total demand forecast for the entire industry. And on the right hand side, what you also have is a qualitative insights of the trends which is going to happen in the market. So you are getting some insights that what is it that people are looking for in the market. You have to analyze these informations and then accordingly you have to take your inputs. At the last, you have a capacity report wherein you can see the capacities available with each of the companies in the market. Next, you have product benchmark report. Now this is a competitive benchmark report wherein you can compare your products vis-a-vis your competitors. So on a segment wise, we can see which brand is the highest market share and which brand is the least market share for a particular segment. You can also compare that what is being offered by you in terms of the price points, in terms of the specifications, and what is your competitor offering in the market. Now right now what you see is you see exactly same data, because when we begin, all the competitors available, they have the exact same product. But as we start the simulation, the moment you start taking your decisions, you will start creating some sort of differentiation in your products or in terms of your pricing. And similarly, your competitors will also start creating some differentiation, and that the data starts getting reflected over here. So this data, as you play quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, this data starts becoming more and more diverse, and you can start comparing what is it that your competitor is doing and what is it that you are doing. Last, you have financial statements wherein you can see your income statements and your cash flow statements. So income statements, you can see you have revenues, you have material cost, labor cost, inventory cost. Look at your gross contributions. Then you have a couple of depreciations for your plant, for your research, you have promotions, you have sales force, service force, admin, other income, and then you have a net profit. So all the parameters as percentage of your revenue is what you can see once you hover on them. So like for example, if I hover on net profit, my net profit right now is 4.81% of my revenues. So this is my net profit. So I can compare across periods, how does my income statement look like? Am I increasing my top line? Am I increasing my bottom line? What is the trend that I have followed? All those things is what you can see over here. Are you overspending? Are you underspending? So these numbers, these can be understood from once you see your P&L statements. If you scroll down, you can see your cash flow statement. So cash flow statement will tell you how much cash you have got from operations. So you can see this is cash flow from operations. What is the cash flow from investment? Are you investing something? If you're investing, you will see how much you have invested and how did you finance your investments. So cash flow from financing. Altogether, you can see your starting cash and your ending cash. So right now, as you can see, my ending cash is 54 million. I have 54 million cash with me. Okay, now how do I utilize this cash? How do I grow this cash? How do I invest this cash? All this is going to be your strategic decisions which you have to take in these simulations. Now let's move to the third tab, which is the planning tab. So far what we have seen is that how do we analyze the data? So what kind of information is available is what we have seen now. Let's focus on how do we plan. So this is your planning tab. Under planning, Your decisions are clubbed into three heads: brand strategy, corporate strategy, and special initiatives. What is brand strategy is where you take inputs regarding all your brands available in the market. As you can see, I have A1, A2 and A3. What you can do is you can change the product configuration, you can change the memory, you can change the camera, storage, screen size. You can also change the MRP of the product. You can also choose a new target segment in case if you want, and you can modify your advertisement budgets and your promotional budgets. You can also look at your previous sales, inventory left out, and you can decide how much do you want to produce for the next quarter. You can also change as your supply percentage for the three channels, which is modern retailers, company owned stores, and your distributors. So the same can be done on a brand level for all the brands that you currently have. Under corporate strategy, the first thing that we do is we can set your goals. So what was your previous profit and what is your target profit for the next quarter and your target market share for the next quarter. You can also look at your capacities. How much capacity is what you have? How much are you producing? And do you want to install a new plant to enhance your capacity? You have three options available: a small plant, a medium plant, and a large plant. Moving down, you have manpower planning. Under manpower planning, basis your decisions, system will give you an input on number of workforce required in your organization. You can decide how much do you want to plan and how do you want to plan. Do you want to hire them from outside, or do you want to invest in training and innovation budgets so that you can improve the process and increase productivity? Now you also have a financial planning in terms of your equity and debt. So in case if you plan to invest somewhere and you wish to borrow loans or borrow money from the market, you have both the options available. So you can either borrow loan from the banks or you can issue share in the market. The last but not the least is the special initiatives. Now in this segment, what you have is you have a number of projects available. Some projects which will help you improve your process and the others that can help you improve your product. So the first three projects, as you can see, integrated IT system, Six Sigma certificate and cost reduction. These projects, if successfully implemented, will help you improve your process, and each one of them has a very specific benefit. Like IT system will help you improve your sales efficiency and service efficiency and reduce your material cost, whereas Six Sigma will increase your demand, your productivity, and your cost reduction will reduce your material cost. So each one of them also has an investment required and a failure risk associated with each one of them. So if you wish to invest, you just need to click on which project do you want to invest and you can save your decisions. If you scroll down, you will find some projects available that will help you enhance features of your product. So right now, if you see, if I go back to brand strategy, you have limited options available under memory and camera or storage or screen size. In case you want to enhance the features of your phones, you need to invest under special initiatives so that you can manufacture phones with better features. Let me quickly show you on how to take inputs in this simulation. Now suppose I want to increase my advertisement budgets for product A1. Suppose I make it 3 million and I also plan to increase the price 28,000, and suppose I want to increase my production around 1500. For product A2, let's say I increase my camera and I increase it to 20,000. I am increasing my advertisement budgets. I also tend to increase the production. I make it 2600. I click on save. So I have changed my product configurations. Going back to corporate strategy, let's say I plan to invest in a small plant. Moving forward, I can see my requirement of workforce. It is 510. Suppose I go for 490 and I invest some amount under innovation budgets and on training budgets. and I scroll down, I click on save. I go to special initiative, and let's say I invest in a couple of projects. So solid state device, and let's say Six Sigma. I click on save. Once I have taken all my inputs, and now please remember that once you change your inputs, you have to then click on save button to make sure your changes are being saved on the system. Once you are done with your final decisions, you can scroll down to review before you simulate. So once you go to review, what review will do is review will give you a break-even analysis. You can see a projections over here. So you have a income statement projections and you have a cash flow statements projections. You also have a couple of charts on the top of the page which gives you a picture on how does your income statement and cash flow look like at various levels of sales achieved. So if you are able to achieve 100% of your sales forecast, my income will be around 6.65. If I'm able to achieve 90% of my sales forecast, I'll just break even at an income of 0.951. And anything below 90, I will be into losses. Similarly for cash flow, around 80%, I am just break even with the cash. And if my sales achieved is less than 80%, I will have no cash in the organization. So this is how your organization looks like in terms of your projections. So maybe you would want to revisit your decisions and look at some parameters on how to manage your income and your cash flows. For cash flows, what you can do is, as you can see over here, if you are investing and let's say if you do not have sufficient cash flows available, you can go back to your corporate strategy and you can avail certain loan from the market so that you are able to sustain your investments in cash from the cash which you get from the market. Once you are okay with the decisions, with the projections that you see over here, all you have to do is you have to click on run simulation. When you click on run simulation, we'll have results for Q2. And you can see now this is my score, this is my rank, and this is how the other competitors have scored. So my rank has become 6th, and you can further drill down and look at your key performance metrics scores that you have achieved under all the 4 perspectives. Go back to analysis and you can see what has happened under demand supply reports. Under product benchmark reports, you can see now data have started to reflect over here. Companies have started to change in terms of their marketing budgets, in terms of their pricing for their products. Go back to financial statements and I can see how does my financial statement look like. If you see, my net profit has reduced to 3.84%. Although my top line has increased, but my net profit has reduced. So I need to reflect, I need to see what has happened over here from Q4 to Q1, the changes which has happened because of my strategic decisions, and what are the things that I have to reflect on. I can also look at the cash flow statements. So you need to analyze this further and then keep playing or keep submitting inputs for subsequent quarters.